Shalom, all praise to Yahweh Shemel Shah, the Balanci Apostle GMS. This is I'm now with Allah coming from the video. And in this video, I'm going to focus on the book of Romans, chapter 8. Both really on the topic of, not being, controlled by the flesh, And we're going to go into what that means and, how to, what we're going to go into what that means about, the flesh. So let's get right to it. Romans chapter 8, verse 5. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. Let's go to that word, flesh.
Strong's G 4561, sarx.
Now it says sarx. Now, when you go right to the point, right here, number 4, it says the flesh denotes mere human nature, the earthly nature of man apart from divine influence, and therefore prone to sin and opposed to the Most High. So when it says flesh, mind things of the flesh, it don't literally mean flesh like skin, organs. When it says flesh, it's talking about human nature, an earthly nature of man apart from divine influence. That's why it's called the flesh, because it's a nature of man separate from divine influence or the spiritual influence of the Most High, and therefore is prone to sin and is opposed to the Most High. So that's what it means by the flesh. So they which are of the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, meaning those who are separate from the Most High's divine influence. They don't mind things that are spiritual. They mind things that are of the flesh. Now, what are some things that are of the flesh? Let me go to Galatians 5 real fast. Let me go right to the point. No, I'm going to start from verse 17. Galatians 5:17. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to another, the one to the other. So the flesh and the spirit are contrary to each other. They're against each other, so that you cannot do the things that you would. Therefore, you won't do the things that you want to do. So when you want to do things that's right, then the lust of the flesh comes in to make you want to do that which is wrong. So it's a constant battle between the flesh and the spirit. The spirit wants to do that which is righteous, but the flesh wants to do that which is unrighteous. And since they're contrary against each other, you cannot do the things that you would. So because sometimes you're gonna fall into the temptation of the flesh, But just because we're um, prone to temptations, don't mean you're supposed to willingly just fall into it. Like, oh shoot, let me see how I'm gonna make it to camp 4 o'clock because I really want to do this that I really ain't got no business doing, but I really should be there on time. Or let me, do this even though it's not something I should be doing. Oh, it's Sabbath. Let me go and you know what I'm saying, let me go and deal with this woman. I ain't supposed to be doing none of that. You know what I mean? And you gotta know yourself. You gotta know yourself. I mean, a lot of people out there are in denial about what their strengths and their weaknesses are. You know what I'm saying? Scripture speak about know you not your own selves. You can't be in denial of what your own strengths and weaknesses are. You gotta understand what those is. And you gotta pray the Most High Yahweh Shemel Shah to strengthen your strengths and weaken your weaknesses. In other words, give you the strength to overcome that which you're weak to. So it says, but if you be led of the Spirit, you are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, and we are under the law. We are under faith. All right, we're justified by grace through faith. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, which that's a strong sexual desire. Okay, idolatry, witchcraft. The things that I'm not mentioning are things that we already know what they mean. But maybe in another show I'll go into these things: idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance. That's like divisions, emulations. That's like a jealous rivalry. For example, that's a jealous rivalry. If I go to emulation, see what it says.
Strong's G 1370. Echastasia.
The Apostastia doesn't really give you much. It says dissension, but when you look deeper into it, it's like a jealous rivalry. You know, an urge to outdo someone. All right, wrath, strife, seditions. That's uprising against authority. Heresies. That's going against things that are taught and righteous teachings. You know, going against established teachings. Like somebody saying that the other nations can make it. Somebody saying reincarnation not in the scripture. That's a heresy. Okay, somebody saying Esau not the white man. Somebody saying the natives and the so-called Latinos and Native Americans not Israelites. That's a heresy. Envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings. Got the word revelings.
Strong's G 2970. Comas.
Komos. A revel, carousal, a nocturnal and riotous procession of half-drunken and frolicsome fellows who after supper parade through the streets with torches and music in honor of Bacchus or some other deity, and sing and play before houses of male and female friends, hence generally a feast and drinking parties that are protracted till late at night and indulge in revelry. So things like that. A nocturnal last night. Okay, we know that. And just give drinking, eating, you know, partying. That's an example of a revelry. And that doesn't mean you can never have fun, but the people out there who spirit is engulfed in that type of stuff, that's what they all about. Gotta hit this club, hit that club, hit this bar, hit that bar, hit that line, this time, go this party, that party. And you know your spirit. You know if that's who it is that you are at your heart, in your core. Just because you in the truth, don't mean you don't got weaknesses. Just because you may be doing something and something may not have happened the first 100 times, don't mean eventually nothing will happen. You got to take heed to signs. You know what I'm saying? Understand how the Most High operates. I mean, the Most High let you do something and may not do nothing to you the first 10 times you do it. And then eventually something happens the 11th time. You know what I mean? Envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things should not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And if you can see, it mentions the works of the flesh, but then it mentions the fruit of the Spirit. Works are actions, things that you do. Fruits are things that actually grow. Because why? They grow because they're nourished from the inside. Sunlight, water. Okay? The process of photosynthesis is things that make it, that nourishes on the inside, that causes the fruit to grow. Whereas the works are the actions of your hands, things that you do. So one is carnal, one is spiritual, that which is inside you. Okay? Let's go back. So for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh. So that's their concern. That's their desire. That's what their heart is inclined to. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, things of the spirit. I'm going to word mind.
Strong's G 5426. Phraneo.
Phraneo just says to have understanding, be wise, to feel, think. To feel, think. Doesn't really give us much there. Okay. To direct one's mind to a thing, to seek, to strive for, to seek one's interest or advantage, to be of one's party, side with him in public affairs. Okay. For they that are of the flesh, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. For to be carnally minded is death. So when you carnal, that leads to death, man. Well, carnal, the word there is sodic, same thing as flesh. When you mind those things of the flesh, as we mentioned before in Galatians the 5th chapter, is death. But to be spiritually minded is life and peace. So being carnal is going to lead to your own destruction, because the carnal mind is enmity with the Most High. You look at the word enmity.
Strong's G 2189. Echthra.
Echra. Enmity, cause of enmity. Let me see something. Enmity is a deep, strong feeling or hate of opposition between people. Deep hate. So guess what? The carnal mind is enmity with the Most High. That's deep hatred. Most High, I don't like that. Against the Most High. That's okay. The carnal mind is enmity against the Most High. So that's deep hatred against the Most High. The Most High don't like that. So that's deep hatred against the Most High. For it is not subject to the Lord Most High, neither can it be, because it's not subject to the righteousness of the Father, neither can it be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. So you can't please the Most High if you're walking in the flesh. And these are just something listen, man. This truth ain't no fucking hood shit. This truth ain't no hood shit. Like you could come out and teach the Bible, but then, yeah, me in the hood, I'm saying chilling and shit. Nah, the hell with all of that, man. Truth ain't no fucking hood shit, man. I'm saying you out here teaching the word, and then you go outside and you chilling on the corner with niggas who selling drugs and shit. Like, nah, man. Truth ain't no hood shit. I'm not saying that brothers is treating like that, but just so you know, this ain't no thug shit. This ain't no gangster shit. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so be that the spirit of the Most High dwell in you. Now if any man have not the spirit of the Most High, he is none of his. So if you're not walking in the spirit of the Most High, you ain't none of his, man. And so we ain't in the flesh, we in the spirit. We walking in the spirit. That's how we supposed to be. And we read the list of those things earlier. 2 Corinthians 10:3. For we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. So we're in the flesh physically, yeah. But we don't war after the flesh. In other words, envyings, strifes, wraths, hatred, variance, emulations. We're not, in other words, we aren't carnal. Though we're in the flesh physically, we don't war after the flesh, meaning we don't conduct ourselves in a fleshly or carnal manner. The works of the flesh, all right? And I don't mean you won't get mad. Of course not. But we're not supposed to live our lives like being carnal. We're not supposed to give in to what anger can lead us to, which is sin. 2 Peter 2:10. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government. Right? They despise government, authority. Presumptuous are they. Somebody that's presumptuous go beyond what's permitted. Self-willed to do what they want to do. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities, so they're not afraid to speak evil of authorities, man. Okay? They're not afraid to speak evil of authorities. Whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not railing accusation against them before the Lord. Angels are greater in might and power than us, but they don't bring railing accusation against the Most High when it comes to Him giving them command, when it comes to passing out a judgment. So if angels are greater in power and might than us, and don't bring railing accusations or rebel against the Most High when He hands them a judgment, then how much us, who are weaker in power and might than an angel, should we go against dignity? Should we go against authority? But these as natural beasts, people that are like that, they're natural beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, like a goat. It's a beast. For example, an ox is a beast. They're meant to be taken and destroyed, captured and destroyed. They're animals. People devour them. So they're like natural brute beasts, operating strictly on instinct and not being spiritual. So they're like natural brute beasts, speak evil of the things they understand not. So they speak evil of high things, spiritual things that they don't understand, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. And they're going to perish like due to that. They're gonna die due to that. They're gonna be judged due to that. You know, people out there talking crap about us, talking crap about this truth. The Most High gonna deal with them, man. The Most High see everything. Let me end it here. Matthew 12:36. Matthew 12:33. Either make the tree good and its fruit good, or else make the tree corrupt and its fruit corrupt. For the tree is known by its fruit. So a tree is known by its fruit. An apple tree is an apple tree, for example. A tree is known by its fruit. And why did he say this? O generation of vipers, how can ye being evil speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. So the mouth speaks that which the heart has within it. So when you say certain things, you're saying what it is that you feel, because your words reveal your true character. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth good things, and the evil man out of the evil treasure brings forth evil things. So that person who has evil in their heart gonna speak evil things. That person who has good in their heart, righteousness in their heart, they're gonna speak good and righteous things. Because why? A tree is known by its fruit. We know a tree by the fruit that it bears. We know a person by the character that's within them. And the things that they speak and the things that they do is a representation of the true character of that person. Just like a tree's fruit bears witness to what type of tree it is. A person's actions and words bears witness to the type of person that person is. But I say unto you that every idle word, every small word, every careless word, every empty word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. So they're going to be judged for that, every word that they speak. For by thy word thou shalt be justified, and by thy word thou shalt be condemned. So if you speak righteous things, you're going to be given a reward, a righteous reward. But if you speak evil things, guess what? You're going to get a harsh judgment. So at that, I'm going to say, oh, praise the Yahweh by Shemel Shah, double line, say, Apostle GMS. I hope you better learn something. Shalom.